We are here on episode 4 of Claiming My Abundance podcast. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
I'm feeling good. I'm super excited, about today. I love, what you're doing in this space, and Claiming My Abundance, just watching it from the beginning is just like, wow, just that fast. And it's like, I love it. So I'm excited about today.
Yes. Well, I am honored to have you. I know that I've been watching your journey for a while as well in the space of helping people. First off, let me just give you a grand introduction of all the amazing work you do. So for those who are listening, we have Lytria Roberson. She is a life insurance broker and expert, and she is the owner of Legacy and Life Investments. And I am super excited and grateful and honored that she accepted the invite to be on our episode 4 of Claiming My Abundance podcast, because I have been watching her journey for some time now, really pushing the importance of getting insured, not only just life insurance, but home insurance, car insurance, business insurance, just being insured, as we know that we cannot put a time limit on when we need to insure ourselves. We can insure our phone, we can insure our computer, we can insure everything else, but not our life. So I am just grateful that she is in a space of really bringing that value, like massive value, consistently to bring families the awareness of being insured. So thank you, Lytria, again, for just accepting the invite and just being so passionate. That's, if I can describe you in one word, it would be passionate. Every time you post and educate and inform us, I'm just like, look at this woman. Everybody needs insurance when they see your content. Everybody.
It's for everybody. I absolutely adore life insurance.
Yes. And if you all are just like, okay, life insurance, I don't know about it, or I hear about it so often, but I just don't know where to start, here is where you can start. So Lytria, I would love for you to introduce yourself and let the listeners know who you are and how you got started with life and legacy investments.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting for me, something new, to me. So definitely excited and grateful to be on Claiming My Abundance today. So everybody, I'm Lytria Roberson. I am the owner of Life and Legacy Investments, and I'm a life insurance broker. I assist individuals and families secure their most valuable asset, which is their life. And I do that in specializing in helping specifically moderate to low income families, families that are working, in corporate America. They make enough money, but not enough money to possibly get benefits, through their state or anything like that. So I specialize in helping them find affordable coverage and beginning to build their portfolio using a life insurance policy. And so that's my specialty. I really think that life insurance can be affordable for everybody. So that's where I stick to, as far as making sure that everybody can afford it and everybody has that a part of their portfolio. I got started in this space. I initially started in the MLM space. And that was, that was a lot, but I do want to talk about it because I think that it's very important for people to know where I got started. So I started in multi-level marketing. It was introduced to me. And I went through a presentation. I'm pretty sure everybody is familiar with those like presentations that they give you. And I'm like, wow, it was just a bunch of realities, that I wasn't familiar with, that I wasn't thinking about being a woman working in corporate America, and so those realities hit home for me. And so I decided to take the leap of faith and jump into this industry. I didn't last in the multi-level marketing industry. I don't have anything bad to say about it. But I will say this, it did not align with what I wanted to do in this space. And it didn't align with my, values and what I stood for, being a life insurance broker. So I branched off and I figured out how to become a broker. And so now own my own brokerage, and I have access to a ton of carriers that I have amazing relationships with. So that's one of my advantages that I absolutely love, is being able to communicate with the different carriers. So I'm not captive to just one carrier. And I essentially work for my client, and I love that because we stay close throughout the process. And so I'm able to work for them. I make the approach for them. We're able to, look at who we want. And so I just absolutely love being a broker. I have not hired or brought on any agents of my own. I am a one-woman show right now. I do have a team for operations, but as for now, that's where I am, and that's kind of where I started. And that's how I got into this space with life insurance. And since then, it's just been a lot of learning. It's been a lot of growing, and it's been a lot of healing. Getting into the multi-level marketing space, it was a hurtful process, and more things on top of that took place. And I had to grow from that, and I had to decide I wanted to keep going, and I kept going. And now you see Life and Legacy Investments here today. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
That was bomb. Let me clap for you. I love the transparency.
Yeah.
One thing that if we don't do anything else on our episode, on the podcast, is we're going to be transparent. Mm-hmm. And this is why, even us having that brief talk about being approached and etiquette and just being transparent about how we want to be handled, because if you're in a space of serving people and, they're coming to you for certain things, okay, I've never had life insurance before, or I don't know what this looked like, or I'm coming from another company, even just their whole makeup and their lifestyle, we want to be transparent. So the reason why I brought that up is one thing I heard you say that I can definitely relate to is the MLM.
Yeah.
The level marketing. Yes. And I have been introduced to that on multiple levels. That's so crazy, Lytria, because that's actually how my first foot in the door of credit. For those who don't know, that's how I became an entrepreneur, stepping into credit because I wasn't taught about credit at the comfort of my home. But MLM was the way I got into it. And literally when you said yes, and it did not, I'm in agreement with you because it did not align with my core values or my business model. Obviously, when we first get into business, we may not even know what a business model is, what that looks like, what our core values is, or our pillars are as entrepreneurs. But I feel like when you know you, to some degree, even though you may still have to go through the healing process or in the healing process, we know ourselves to some degree. And if the relationship, the involvement, the situation just doesn't align with us, then God will give us another route. So now this brings you to your point of being the owner of Life and Legacy Investments. I just think that is amazing. And that I can relate to that because that was literally my first foot in the door. Mm-hmm. So your intro was everything. And we rarely hear about, I think nowadays, a lot of people are starting to hear about insurance. But most people still are just like on the fence. So I'm glad to have you really break this down for us. But like you said, you being that owner and figuring out like, I have to pivot because this is not for me, allow you to start healing. Yeah. So my first question to you is, what did your healing journey look like? Like, what was that for you? What did that consist of?
So a lot of things, just like, everybody else, leaving that space, right? You're taught something, right? And so you go through a process where you learn all of these different things. You're excited about it. You really, really deep down genuinely feel like it's going to work. I enjoyed the camaraderie and all of the different things, the conventions, everything like that. But breaking away from that space meant that I had to unlearn and relearn. And that was very intimidating for me, given the industry that I'm in. Another thing around that is when I initially presented myself, this is, I'm like, hey, my name is Lytria Roberson. This is what I'm doing. And because it didn't work out, now when I have to reintroduce myself, now that I'm rebirthing, who I want to be in this space, it was very challenging. I had a lot of insecurities around that just because everybody's like, this is a scam, da 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 da. And it's just like, oh my God. And overwhelming, and I crawled into this space and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I done blew up my entire market. I don't know. Nobody believes me. I have to actually learn, about life insurance, because before it was a lot of sheltering and it was just all about recruiting. But what I stood for was education and empowerment. I wanted to make a change in a different way. I wasn't trying to recruit them, as many people as I wanted to. And so leaving that space, was like a breakup. Like, man, I've been with this person all this time and now
That's
out,
good.
it's like, it didn't work out. And so the unlearning and relearning for me was, like I said, very intimidating. Like just constantly second guessing myself. I had brilliant idea after brilliant idea. And I just literally would just be in my own four walls, just hovering over these ideas and not, coming out and, allowing people to get to know who I am and really just going after my dreams of serving people and helping them create, generational wealth for their families using life insurance. And I was scared to educate. I'm like, okay, what if somebody challenged me? What if somebody, it was just all of those different things. And I overthought myself out of a lot of opportunities, and so now, I look back at that, going through that, I had to force my hand. It's just like, if you really want to do this, if you really want people to believe in you, you have to believe in yourself. And it really started with self-love for me, because at the same time that all of that was going on, I also had things that I was dealing with personally. I used to be over 200 pounds. Okay. And I did not like myself whatsoever. I was trying every keto diet, everything, apple cider vinegar shots, whatever you can think of.
I
I
remember those.
was just battling that. I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't have a career, I'm overweight. I have 3 kids, a husband, having challenges over there. And so for me, I just kind of detached.
Wow.
I stepped back from it all. And I said to myself, like, you know what, Lytria, you are a woman before any of these titles. So before you can be a life insurance agent, we have to identify and get to know Lytria. And then even for everything else in my life, it was the same thing. And so I really had to detach myself and go hard for me. And that's exactly what I did. I,
You
studying, I just stepped back. I'm like, I'm going to study and become the expert until I feel comfortable not looking at a piece of paper. I just came up, with my own study tactics and, how I wanted my content to look. I started being more careful about who I was talking to about my ideas. I was very, very gentle with myself for a very, very long time. And even with the weight loss, instead of me trying to do it like Susan or, the guru, it was like, I'm going to find what works for me and I'm going to go hard with that. And I found a lot of contentment and confidence, in doing that. And when I started to do that, I feel like my conversations got better. When I started to talk about business and research things, I began to talk the language in my industry. I began to, just be confident about, working out. I started sharing it with people like, what's
absolutely.
up, y'all? I'm working out. I'm taking care of myself because that also tied into my industry because I'm a firm believer in not passing down diseases, but passing down bad habits because a lot of people don't know. But half the battle with life insurance is getting approved. Yes, that we have all of these great that come along with it. But it's like, we got to get you approved, and we can't do that if you're overweight, if you're sickly, if you're, that becomes a challenge. And so for me, health and fitness was very important, and I began to take that stance like, man, I love this. I'm beginning to tie things together, and it's all
Absolutely.
coming together naturally. It's just making sense, of where I'm going.
Yeah.
So
Wait, Lytria, you.
I know, you
you
know what?
you're
If
talking above.
talk forever, I will talk forever. I will talk.
No, and that's why I'm like, just so as the listeners can digest
Yeah.
and engage in what you're saying, because I'm very much engaged. Like the correlation of life insurance, detachment, working out, finding your voice in the industry. Do you know, Lytria, that there's a lot of people dealing with that right now? And see, as you were talking, I'm like, okay, she's talking. I was trying to figure out how does her exit from ML, but I figured it out. Her exit from MLM ties into her personal healing as well. But now I see, and I have so many questions. As you were talking, I was having so many questions in my head. Like, so did you not want to, because you detached yourself and you said something, you said it was like a breakup, like a separation. I'm like, oh my God, that is such a good analogy. But, when you separated from MLM and you started to, battle with yourself because you thought somebody was going to come up and challenge you, was it because I experienced a little bit of this? So was it more so that, okay, Lytria she was once over here and now she left because she discovered who she discovered or already knew who she was and who her core value was. So you went over here and you did your own thing. So were you more worried about someone like attacking your character because you left and then started something else?
Yes.
And it was like,
Most
now it's a war. Who she thinks
That
she
is exactly what it was, because, like
Wow.
I said, I don't know if you experienced this in the MLM space, but, a lot of people just like, it's a scam, it's a scam.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh yeah.
coming from that space, it was like, I didn't want anybody to ask me like, is this real? Is this legit? It was just things that I didn't want to face, but I've grew to answer those questions, it's
Good.
just, what,
Good.
if you think that my company is a scam, then I actually don't want to work with you. I built confidence. It's like people that just walk around identifying scams. It's just like, well, I'm not in the business of scamming anybody. My license is public in 12 different states. And, I just became very confident in the space. But prior to that, I would avoid, I was very insecure about that, because it's like I said, everything that took place during that time frame, it was just like, how do I turn this around? How do I create the image that I want and not the image that was given to me? It's like, how do
Oh wow.
I
To
change
me.
that, so that's where I was. Exactly. You hit it right on the head. That's exactly where I was.
Because that's what I started to feel. Now, the crazy thing about my exit strategy, because God will always give us an exit strategy when He knows He has a higher, better plan and a lucrative plan.
Mm-hmm.
When I say lucrative, I mean like that could have kept you and not brought you the financial stability having your own company. So that's what I mean by that. Because show me anywhere in the Bible where God doesn't want us to be wealthy. Okay,
Yes.
so. But my exit strategy that He gave me, it was just that I just didn't align with it. But Lytria, I felt now just imagine me as the credit consultant, because that's what I started in. So it's a similar situation, just different industry.
Mm-hmm.
Now and people were saying the same thing. I was even bullied cyber. Am I saying that right? Cyber bullied. Excuse me. They were even like bullying me on the internet because they said, oh, credit is a scam. She want all our information. She came from this pyramid scheme, this pyramid scam. So then I had the attack of people, the ones that I was, I guess, under to help build their legs.
Mm-hmm.
They were even a little not combative, but if I felt like there was some competition, there was some friction there.
Oh.
Absolutely. So I went. That was literally the first part of my road to having my own company as well. But so again, just imagine them saying, well, how can I look this person up? Or where's the licensing to say that she is reputable or she is credible to actually assess this credit report?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't have that. You had backings to say, this is what I really do. But I'm just glad that you were able to overcome the mental battle, because I feel like what we were experiencing were mental battles that turned into emotional battles that could have kept us confined and conformed and captivated to, like you said, identity over here. Yeah. How long were you at MLM? Because I was only, I think, like 3 months in.
How long was I? It was from November 2017.
Okay. That's when I started.
I believe just shy of a year. Just made it just over a year. So, I was going hard. I was going hard, and I really believed that was my way out. Like, that was my meal ticket. I was like, this is going to work for me. It has to work. I sacrificed a lot. That was another thing, I made a lot of financial sacrifices, and it was just like, man, like, it was brutal. I admire, and I still hold on to some of the things that I learned, for sure. Just like anything else, I appreciate the time, even though I wish that I had been started where I am now, sooner, just instead of that. Okay. But it wasn't time wasted. I think that it was good for me because I wouldn't know what not to do. I wouldn't know that I don't want that. I don't think I would be able to identify, like, that's not me. I wouldn't be over here like, get somebody else to do it.
Wait, let me
get somebody else to do it. Girl. Yes, because you have those people that make the approaches, because my license is public. People call me all the time, hey, I'm licensed in I see that you're licensed in this state. We're looking to grow, all of the jargon, and that's my exact, I'm like, I think people are great in the space. If it works for them, it works, but it did not work for me.
Yes.
So yeah,
that's right. So, and Lytria, let's definitely highlight the fact that you are an amazing mother and wife, and you are balancing these things all while, like you say, rebirth, rebranding, and getting your voice back in the space. So, did that take a toll on you in your personal life? Well, I know how it took a toll, like, with you mentally and emotionally, but all the amazing hats that you wear and that you are, have to find how to balance them and keep them all flowing in harmony. How did that affect you as a wife and a mother as well? Because, like you said, you had to also sacrifice some financial, matters or affairs, which is why we're talking about having your affairs, having healthy affairs.
So, I mean, you know what? To be honest, I think that at the time I was very lucky. Or not lucky, I would say blessed, because my husband was very understanding. He believed in me as much as I believed in myself. And as passionate as I was, at the time about it, like, babe, this gonna work, we got to do this, we got to do that. He was completely on board, and same thing with children. I include my children in a lot. I'm not as traditional as everybody else, so, I include my children. I allow them to get to know me in that space as well. Like, this is mommy as a businesswoman, or this is mommy doing this, or, I just allow them to see, we don't hold back in that area in our home. And I think that transparency with my children, even the times where it was hard for me, I was very honest with my children, like, today mommy can really use some help because, this is happening. Today was really tough. We have a thing where it is law in our house to ask, how was your day? And so, like, those types of things in place for us, it just helps us a lot, because it helps us to be very considerate of each other, and they just understood, it was times where they're just like, dang, you gonna be gone till 9 o'clock at that office again. You gotta do another presentation. We gotta be quiet again while you on a Zoom. It's like, it was, but they were very understanding, and I appreciate that. Even moving out of the space, my husband didn't look at me like, dang, you spent a lot of money, trying to pursue that. You spent a lot of time trying to pursue that. He was very gracious about it. And I think that it aligned with our goals. I just needed another route. So it aligned with what we wanted, as a married couple. Like, we want to be financially free. We want to have time freedom. We want to spend the max amount of time with each other. And so he saw me trying to pursue that. At the same time, he's trying to pursue that. So that's what made it okay, in the marriage space. Is because at what I was going for, it made sense, for our goals, because it's like, how you gonna get there, if you don't put in any work or pursue anything, you're not gonna achieve that. So I think it just worked out that way.
Love it.
And still does, it still does.
Yeah.
We have a partnership, I like to joke and say, like, we are very so much cross-trained in this house. My husband will wash the dishes, he will cook, and I will take out the garbage. Like, if it needs to be taken out, we just have a strong partnership, and we know and understand in today's life that partnership is what's needed, and not, or what you bring to the table. It's like, well, I believe that God created a table for us both to come together and break bread. And that's just, how I feel about it. And so, I just, and I love him for that, and many reasons, because I was just doing stuff. Okay.
But I mean, he was with you, and he was supportive with you, and your babies were too. As you were sharing this with me, and for those who are listening, if you are a mom and a wife, like the whole CrossFit analogy, get your house in order or in sync with what you do, and don't think you have to do it by yourself or hide that you got to work from 12 hours in the office today. Get in alignment.
Yes.
If you are in a partnership or in a covenant, should we say, because those understand, then you get what I mean. But God wants you in alignment.
Yes.
Not, okay, you're doing your thing over here.
Right.
You're doing your thing. I feel like that can easily become a separation. It could become a ball of confusion, disaster. And your kids are like, mommy's over here, daddy's over here. How about share with them, babies, what this looked like, because they're going to get older.
Yeah.
And they need to see, like you said to me earlier, they need to see unisys. They need to see unity. They need to see a uniform family if it's a 2-parent home.
Yes.
So if you are in business, for those who are listening, and you are married and a mother, or even if you're just a single mother, take them babies along the ride. And for those who are your target audience or your clients, I guarantee you, if you share, that you may have to bring the kids going to be in a playroom or a different office, they respect that. So a part of, healing, a part of having healthy affairs is a part of making sure your household understands what type of time you are on. So you and your husband and your partner can break bread together. And to me, when someone say break bread, it's more than just finances, right? It's together, sharing children, producing seeds together, multiplying time freedom and wealth freedom together. Let's break bread and grow. So I love how that's so healing to me. Because I'm not, I'm not blessed with children just yet. And my partner, this is helping me. And for those who are single, to say, don't hide just because you were doing it your way before you got into this covenant or got into this partnership, because marriage and having kids is a partnership. Don't, just because you consumed and used to doing it your way, don't do that over there. When you come over here, you have to let them know your routine. You have to help them help you by allowing them to understand you and welcome them into your world.
Yes. I love that. Absolutely love that. I think that, one of the things that I always share with my clients, because A part of me being able to make sure that they can afford coverage is, going over their finances. What does your budget look like? And when we get into those conversations, I'm always very clear. When you set financial expectations for yourself, and you have to identify the people that's included in that. There is no sense of us sitting here having a conversation about budgeting and things like that, and you're not on board with your spouse. Like, we want to make sure, because a lot of people they are set in their ways that way. They'll say, like, no, he has his own stuff and I have my own stuff. And when I hear the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, that doesn't stop with your finances. That is another avenue for
Yes.
come in and discourage you and not be on one accord with your partner. I'm not borrowing money from my husband. I'm not asking, can you, we're not splitting the bills. We're going to do this thing as a partnership. And even if that takes trial and error, which it did, it was very so much trial and error, but in the process of that trial and error, it created a lot of growth for us. Like, it boosted us up and made us even more confident about, going goals and our dreams. Like, wow, we can work together with our money. Like, people change over money. Like, it's like, don't let that be your downfall. That is the number one reason right now for divorce, is money.
Wow.
And so it's just like, just try, even if you don't, just try some things. And it's just like, date them finances. Like, just go out and sit down. And I'm saying, create the approach.
Yes.
Like, a lot of people, they're like, how did you get your husband to agree to? And I said, well, one, me and my husband both agreed to our financial goals. So that was the start. And two, we just identified them strengths and weaknesses. It's like, okay, you don't do that good at, this and that. I'm good at planning. I will make sure that I write out the bills every single month. Just do it. It's like, it's not worth, driving your marriage to the ground. It's really not, and I think that when you come with a plan, now I have dressed up situations because it was frustrating for my husband. He's a man, it's just like, I'm not finna be, it was some, restraint there, but, he trusted me, it's like, I trust you. Think that we can do this. And so we started doing it, and we scared to do stuff alone, apart. We
That's good.
let me consult, my A1 since day one. Like, let me, talk to him and make sure this is not going to disrupt what we have going on. And it's not a control thing. It's a partnership thing. It's a consideration thing. It's a we're working together thing. It's a we have goals and not I have goals. So that's why you consult a partner. That's why you have those conversations. And for us, it is law in our house to have, like, we have a date that we have to discuss our finances. It don't matter if we got on the finest clothes. It don't matter if it's at the finest diner. We're going to do it. I'm whipping out that planner. Okay. So,
wait, Lytria, a date for our finances. Like, we date. I love that.
Yeah.
You are helping a lot of people understand how to save for, number one, their marriage, because you said that's the number one cause of divorce.
Yes.
And for two, how to stop letting money control you,
Yes.
especially if, and a wise person said to me, and I'll never forget, they said, this is how you know when you are ready for a marriage or a partnership. If you're still saying mine, you're not ready. But if you're saying oh, you're ready. Because it's just like in business, when we have to present, content, we're saying, we serve, right? But if you're still like, no, this is my business, no, this is mine, it won't grow. Then when you get a team, you're saying we. Mm-hmm. So same aspect. When you know that you're ready to grow with someone, you're like, no, me and mine's, or mine's meaning my family, my loved ones, or you're saying we.
Yeah.
This is ours. It's not just that one mine.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is blessing me today. And I know it's blessing other women who are preparing to, intentionally date and preparing to get, their healthy affairs in order, because I mean, wow. I wouldn't have known. This is kind of like marriage counseling too, if you will, because what you're sharing with me and the listeners is just bring it to the forefront.
Yeah,
Date those finances and
do
keep
it,
dating while you're in this marriage. Like, don't get too comfortable and start hiding things
do
on the
it.
side. Keep opening up.
Yeah.
So I would ask you, and you probably already you said so many amazing things and so much wisdom. Now I would ask you, when did you discover you had to heal? Like through everything you're sharing with me through MLM, I know that was that transition, but like where in your personal life, maybe as well before you became a wife, you had to discover, you needed healing.
Man, like I said, for me, um, it just wasn't what I wanted. It was a very dark place. And,
Mhm.
my kid, I'm like, I have kids. Like, you cannot, you know, you got to make a decision, and it was just a decision that I made. I want to feel better. I want to look better. I want to do
Absolutely.
better. And, I started loving on myself, saying those affirmations every day. But it started with the decision, of where I wanted to be. Is this what you want? Just like everybody else, I'm listening to Eric Thomas. I'm listening to TD Jakes. I'm pumping myself up every single day, and it just got to a point where it was just like, you know what? I can do this. Like I'm gonna make a decision and I can do this. And when I made that decision, that's when that healing process started. It wasn't easy because like I said, I still suffer from those insecurities and, just insecure in my business, insecure personally, just insecure, just unstable in my mind,
Mm,
trying to be there for my children. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to, I'm just trying to everything. I'm just trying, um,
absolutely.
and I just realized like I have to like, if I'm not okay, obviously I'm seeing that when I'm not okay, I don't do well. I don't do well. When I don't feel my best, I don't do well, and specifically like in the insurance space, I realized because I used to be like, I don't look like the other girls, I'm not always, I'm a mom. I always got, my hair is always just talking to myself like I can't get on there. But even though I got this gem at the tip of my tongue, it's like, I'm gonna do it because,
Wow.
it's just whatever, or make a whole status delete it, just going through that insecure phase. It's like, oh my God, I just, I hated it. And so, I started to realize like, how to get around that was healing. Like I had to become one with myself and really start to love on myself. And it started with me just taking care of myself. Like, I just take care of myself like to the T,
Yeah, it looked like it.
like I will not necessarily neglect, but I will step back, like, hold on, wait a minute, to
Yeah.
this business, to my children, to my husband, I will demand my space, because I have come a very, very long way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I knew it was a decision. Like, girl, what are you going to do? Because time does not wait for you. Every day go by and you regret this. You wish you would have did that. It's like, it was sickening. And, I just got sick and tired of feeling like that. And so I started with just taking care of myself. Like, I'm just going to take care of myself, man. To even if I'm all the way honest, there were things that I needed to do when it was just so tough, like go to therapy. And it was just like, well, insurance and, all of this and being able to afford, my co-pays and, all different things. And that's where those affirmations came in. I will be in therapy in the next couple of weeks. I will have the, issues are resolved. Every day I was waking up because it was like, boom, it was like the first thing, like problems just hitting me. And,
Mm,
I started affirming myself, it's like, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna worry about me today. This is the,
right.
it's other forms there, just, finding my way. But it definitely started with, a decision, just saying like, I just really don't want that anymore and saying no to, what I did. want. Like, you know, no,
Yeah.
that thought does not align with where I need to go. You know, I know that I'm 200 pounds. However, I just worked out yesterday and I did it because I love myself. You know, I didn't do it because I hated these 200 pounds. I did it because I love every bit of this 200 pounds. It just got to go. And so
It gotta go.
just, you know, just
Right.
affirming myself, you know, every day. Um, but yeah, yep. I think that's
Good.
for me.
Lytria, I would have never known that you were 200 pounds. Let's just start there because you keep saying it. And it's like,
Ah,
so somebody needs to know. And this is why it's so good that you are a life insurance broker and expert as well, because someone needs to know the importance of having that healthy lifestyle.
yeah.
I mean, I know you put emphasis on it when you're speaking to your clients or doing any questionnaires, but you are an epitome of what you sell. You
Hmm.
or what how you serve, how you serve. I like to say serve because we don't sell anything, we serve. So
Yeah.
you are an example of how you serve in the marketplace, because just people have all type of judgments and prejudgments and thoughts and just myths. Say for instance, and I can only imagine what you were feeling, being 200 pounds yet into serving in the life insurance space and into life insurance policies and sharing that knowledge. I can only imagine, because I hear that you are very much like just in your mind about a lot of things, and we are all guilty of being
Yeah.
in our mind. This is how we don't show up. And I literally wrote a
Mhm.
status about a lot of people, a lot of us, because I'm guilty of it too. A lot of us don't show up because we are battling with the unknown, thinking that, oh well, the person in life insurance space, the person that like you say looks like this and looks like that, she's showing up, so she's delivering more effective than me, and I can't. Guess what? I guarantee that same person, she probably was 200. I mean, not saying that she was 200 pounds, but even someone who could have been 200 pounds, they're
Mhm.
still showing up, but they're still battling with something.
Right.
So just only imagine what you were battling with, being 200 pounds and not wanting to show up, knowing that your life and your legacy
Yes.
depends on,
Yes.
which is why you created life and legacy.
It just,
That's
and you know
really
what? It all, before all of this, it was, you know, it was just created, you know. And
exciting.
the reason why it all ties together is because and why I promote, you know, just you know, like, let's be healthy, let's do our best to make better decisions when it comes down to our health, because like I told you, half the battle is getting approved, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, being in a Black community, you know, we struggle with diseases, you know, and different things like that. And so, you know, it's a part of it. The better you take care of yourself, the more likely you are to get that, you know, that policy, you know, that you want to, because you know, your children or whomever, they deserve that inheritance, and that's essentially who you do it for. And for me, it tied together even more because I went through a stage where I was just like, you know, it's just everything started to flow, but I'm still not where I want to be, and I want to quit. You know, it's like I just want to quit. But then at 29, you know, my whole life just changed. You know, it's like, okay, what's going on? What's wrong with me? And I was diagnosed with a chronic illness. And I'm like,
Mm.
what? You know, like, what? I'm like, you know, okay, what we going to do with this? But it all
That's
came back around full circle because I was like, okay, God, everybody is in this space and they're talking about infinite banking. They're talking about all of the juicy stuff, right? It's like, I want to do that. I want to do that. But it wasn't
yeah.
for me. It just wasn't, even though I'm
Mm.
very so much educated about it, it's not the avenue that God wanted me to take. And I
That's
learned
right.
that at 29 years old, being diagnosed with a chronic illness, you know, a reality hit me, you know, a reality
Mm.
in my marriage with my children and my finances. And it just heightened my love for life insurance even more. I had to have a very invasive surgery, and that required for me to be down for 2 months. And
Wow.
so my husband, he was responsible for bathing me, feeding me every single day. I couldn't get out the bed without him coming to help me walk to the bathroom. And this is me at 29. I could not believe it. I was like, this is not life, you know, back and forth to the hospital. And nobody knew that I was dealing with that, but that's what was going on, like, in my life and my spouse. And I thought about the financial security that I have. Not only do I have a permanent policy that allows me that cash value to help, like, so that my husband can step away from work and not worry about bills, but that cash value to help us cover our healthcare, finance, you know, responsibilities, or our bills. But then there's also that second piece. Had I had needed long-term care, I would have been able to accelerate a portion of my death benefit while I'm alive, you know, and that's the second half that people don't know about. And for me, that's very important. I see so many women, you know, who are pregnant, you know, for instance, they get on that bed, they have that baby, they fall ill. Now they can't go back to work. Everything is falling apart. They lose their house. They lose so much. And these are the things. And so that's when I found my avenue. That's when I found, you know, those people that are just like me, in a sense, you know, that could potentially fall ill, and they need to know the importance of living benefits. And it needs to be affordable, you know, it needs to be affordable. It's not something, my policies are not breaking the bank. They were designed specifically for me. The carriers work for me, the product works for me. And so that's when I found that avenue. You know, I want to make sure, like, I know you hear about all of these great things, you know, but just like anything else, you know, I'm pretty sure with credit repair, you tell people, you know, well, this is your timeline and we have to set goals, you know, for where you want to be. It's the same way with life insurance. Like, yeah, you have to start out with the policy for $100,000, but, you know, we can gauge, you know, you can purchase as much life insurance as you want. Like, and, you know, you might not be able to afford those, you know, the policies that do all the tricks and trades, but, you know, you can start somewhere. You can get that portfolio started now, and you can be able to, you're able to secure your life now. You're able to secure your love now. You're able to secure, because, you know, that's, it happens. Life happens. And sometimes you don't die. You are alive. You live through it. And, you know, life insurance, it just gives you those living benefits. And that was another turn for me where that reality hit. Like, oh my God, like, my husband could have been my caretaker, you know, for the rest of my life. You know, that could have been my reality. Something could have went wrong in my anything, you know, and I'm glad that nothing did. But, you know, it was another reality for me. And, you know, just going through that, you know, it was like, wow, you know, we went through that. We weren't even 30 yet. It was like,
yeah, you know, and this is, oh my God, like, that's the excuse me, that's the part right there. You almost gave me chills and want to cry. That's the part right there that somebody needed to hear. At 29 years old, what you experienced and what you were diagnosed with, the chronic illness. I like to always tell, even in my academy, my students, whatever you had to grow through, whatever that trauma was, whatever you were diagnosed with, that is your superpower now.
Yeah.
The fact that God said, okay, whatever that awakening moment, whatever the wisdom that you got from, you know, the whole situation in your life, I am so glad that your husband was there.
Yes.
Because I can only imagine, you know, the tug of war and the spiritual warfare you could have went through with your mind and emotions if you were by yourself. So he is a blessing. But someone needs to hear that, because someone is dealing with something right now and don't have life insurance. Mm-hmm. So don't be that, for my listeners, don't be that person who you know, don't be that person. Because you like this,
procrastination, friend.
Yeah. And then the next 48 hours, God forbid, and not going to, something happens, something else deteriorates. I feel like, you know, our internal, our body, it's like a car. It's like the engine of our car. Mm-hmm. You know, if the engine is not, you know, running, if it's not good, if it's not up to par, if it's not in quality shape, then nothing else is going to too much run. Mm-hmm. You may, like you said, you mask some of your, you know, areas of your finance or areas of the things that you were dealing with, your affairs, but your health, don't mask your health.
Don't.
At least life insurance, as passionate as I'm feeling your heart and seeing you speak
Yes.
again, passion. It's like, I just hope this touched hundreds,
I
thousands
do.
of people.
Me too. I am so appreciative of this conversation because
Yes,
healing definitely played a major part in that passion. You know,
mm,
because it had to come from somewhere, and those
absolutely.
instances and those times and everything that I experienced, that's exactly where it came from. And every time something happens, it just makes more and more sense. You know, this is why you cannot zone in on other avenues. I need people to know about this, and I need them to know that they can afford it. And
Yes.
you know, it's something that everyone can potentially obtain. You know, don't count yourself out, you know, when it comes down to life insurance. One of the things that I love about being a broker is working for my client, and, you know, being able to make the approach to see, you know, who will be the best fit, you know, looking at different underwriting guidelines and things like that. You know, you get with the right agent, you know, someone that will go to bat for you, you know, to help you make the best decision. Because
Yes.
just like I like to compare it to purchasing a home, you know, you're going to go through the trenches, you know, and it can take a long time. It can, you know, depending on the person. But, you know, you have to think about why you're doing this. You know, and the older you get, you know, you don't want to be the average 45 and 50-year-old that's like, okay, now I'm getting old and I need to get life insurance. That's not the way that it works. We really should have insurance coming out the womb. If you ask me, it should be a law. We need, like, this is, you know, this should be, you know, a normal thing. And for me, that is definitely my goal. You know, I'm on the side of education where I'm always educating, you know, because I love to talk. And so, you know, I want to help families make this a normal conversation at their kitchen table, just like how I, you know,
People.
yeah, with my children, you know, I tell my children, you know, if in the event that something happens to mommy, you know, what do we need to do? You know, I'm running this through with my 14-year-old daughter, you know,
Absolutely.
and so having your affairs in order is very important. You know, me personally, the way that I did it for my family, and I'm in a process of creating a service, along with a course for life insurance in general, but, is I put it all in one place, and I created a checklist for my person of execution. God forbid that, you know, my children end up, you know, having to do anything, but,
Right.
you know, putting together a checklist where all of my things are, you know, everybody, you know, parents had that bag with all of the important documents in it, like, go get the birth, you know, like, no, get you, you know, a burn safe, put your important documents in there, make sure that your oldest child is familiar with what to do and where to go. Even if you have somebody in place, you know, make sure that they're familiar, let them know that they have an heir coming.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
don't keep that from your children. They are worthy of that. And so you are worthy of that. You know, if you have your parents and you're the breadwinner for your parents, you know, you it's okay to have the conversation, you know, like, hey, you know, I just wanted to kind of talk to you about, you know, what you kind of had planned or what your plans are for retirement, or, you know, you coming up in age. And I know it's very intimidating, but I'm gonna tell you right now, there's really no right time to have a conversation
Now.
about
The time is
stuff.
now.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we need to.
Yeah.
So having your affairs in order is, you know, I don't know about you, but I've experienced a great deal of anxiety around a parent. I'm not a parent, but a loved one passing away, and
Mm,
we're just not prepared. You know, we're going in places to get money, that we advancing money off credit cards. We selling stuff, we selling dinners. You know, it's just really time out for that, you know.
mm.
Um,
And
so I think that it's a way, you know, GoFundMe is not life insurance. Like, I do not want my children asking anyone for money to give me an honorable home going. I just don't. And I don't think anybody should. It's okay if that's what you have to do, but why do that when you can budget, to leave behind your heirs? So yeah.
Yeah, like you said, in full transparency, even when my mom took her wings, we didn't have insurance in place, Lytria. We didn't.
Mm,
Um, so, like you said, selling dinners and GoFundMe. I think what it was, the funeral owners, they just worked with us. And maybe she had the insurance that she had covered some, even if that's the case with your parents or, like you say, your loved ones. If they have some type of, insurance that covers some proportion, but then what about the other proportion?
yeah.
What about, so, I mean, that was an awakening moment in my life to say, I never want to run around and, like you say, have that anxiety or just feel embarrassed because we cannot provide for this homegoing, So this is good. Like you said, kitchen table, like this should be a conversation.
Yeah.
So now share with us, and I can just hear it, see it, I feel it. How did healing, help you in your personal and your business life and to have those healthy affairs?
So I mean, healing, like I said before, it gave me confidence that I needed. I remember getting to a point where, I was feeling really good, about where I was. It was like, wow, like look at you, like you taking, you setting aside time to learn, you're educating yourself, you're in tune with yourself, you're loving on yourself. And so personally, that started to pour out into my family. My kids, they started affirming themselves. Everybody started to walk around, in confidence. It's just like, mommy okay, so we all are okay. It was like, and it was just the best thing that I could have ever done. It's just taking the time to heal and forgive, and to not be angry, and to just really love myself. It just looks better on me. I just showing up now, it's like, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like, oh, like, you just look better. You just do better. You just like,
Yeah.
yes. And so, it did that for me. And for business, it's like, I know my stuff. It's like, I know my stuff. Like I said, I absolutely adore life insurance. And so, I just feel like, I'm ready for whatever. I'm no longer intimidated, by the industry. It's
That's,
like,
that's so good.
like I am life insurance. I know life insurance. I feel good about that. It's like I absolutely love the space that I'm in. Girl, don't get me to talking. You ask me one question, and I always tell people like, listen, I am going to continue to talk unless you tell me all right, or you wrap it up. Because
Yeah.
my baby, and I just love it. It's doing everything that it needs to do for me. And I know that it can do for a lot of other people. I see the fruits of that, visualizing the fruits of that all the time, just looking at my kids like, oh my God, I'm not where I want to be financially, but look at my inheritance, what are we like? Come on. Like,
Though.
it's like, look at that inheritance. Like my babies, like, oh my God, I'm not worried about no illness. I'm not worried about, whether I can't go to work or not. It's just like, I have set the tone, and
Yes. Yes.
I just love that. I love that. And it spills over into my business, and I'm able to help my clients. I'm able to be very relatable to them. My attitude and, my vibes, my energy, I'm able to help them through those tough times,
Them tough times. And they need that voice. But I was gonna say, look at what Beyonce said. She said, pay me in equity. That's how I look at our inheritance. I want equity. I don't the front money, I'm gonna show up and serve with this
Yeah.
passion and this education. But 10 years from now, Lytria, 15 years from now, 25, 35, pay me in equity. That's how I look at an inheritance, girl. Let me tell you something. Let me say this. I should see you on live every day. If I'm pulling your coattail, if I'm pulling your chain, baby, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing on this podcast and what you're doing on this episode of Having Healthy Affairs is you are dropping bombs on a lot of people. And I hope it's making them feel like I needed this episode today. I need her. I need life insurance.
Yes.
I mean, literally what you are spilling over to me, because even having these conversations, it is a transfer in your subconscious, in your mind, in your spirit. Mm-hmm. So now I feel like those who listen to this, and even myself, when I leave from this episode, I'm like, and I do have, life insurance, but if I didn't, you just convinced me why I should have it.
Yes.
So good job. You showed up and you delivered. And like I say, Lytria, you should be on live on IG. I'll be a guest, so we can.
I know. Please, hold me accountable. Please hold me accountable.
We have to talk after this, because you are. I mean, you should have a talk show about life insurance the way you're talking about it. I don't even like as you're speaking, and I know you said stop you or transition. It's just. Yeah, how you're saying stop you in transition. It's so good. I don't want to. But this brings me to my point of at what point did you start to claim your abundance? Like, I know that's a question to say, wow, when did I really step into that? But I can, again, you've painted such a beautiful picture for myself to get to know you more, for the listeners to get to know you and how you healed and how it just made so much sense with every step in your life and in business. Mm-hmm. But, if you could tell us, what was that one moment once you start to, when everything made sense, like you say, life insurance, you see the fruits of it. When did you start claiming your abundance?
Again, that decision, it's like, if you want it, go after it. And I speak that in in the atmosphere all the time.
Yes.
It's for me, and I just see God's blessings through this business. I see this being, like I like to play around. This is my meal ticket, there is no way. And I've really come a long way. I'm not turning back. Like, there is no way I'm going back to all of those other things. Will I be reminded? Absolutely. But going back is just not an option for me. And so that's me claiming my abundance. I genuinely wake up every day and I just, I affirm myself, I have everything that I need, I have everything that I need. And that's me claiming my abundance, whatever that may entail. I have everything that I need, and and one of my favorite scriptures is, do not worry about, I forget the exact scripture, but do not worry about anything. Instead pray about all things and give thanks. And I stay in a place of gratitude, and all that other stuff is really not my business. I hand it over to God, and it's like, you know what? I everything that I need is already here. It's just a matter of me executing. It's just a matter of me speaking to the right people. God, send my help. Who do I need to talk to? So I'm constantly having that conversation to be reminded of that abundance on the way, to be reminded of the abundance that I have, with my children, with my husband. I feel like the small things are, abundance. My husband meeting me at the gas station so that I won't ever have to put gas in that's abundance to me. Like, you care so much about me that you're going to come from where you are so I don't have to put gas in my car. I absolutely love that. I feel like it's just that decision, like I have everything that I need. And when I look around, it's just nothing that God has not done for me. Like, and I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful. Like, my kids, abundance. Like, I just oh my God, like, how do I deserve, but it's like, what's for me is for me. Those kids are for me. That husband is for me. This business is for me. So I just absolutely, that's the abundance. Like that's me claiming the abundance every single day, every single.
Day. Yeah. In every single moment.
Yes.
Wow. When I don't hear someone respond with that answer with financial measurements, to me it's like you've done the work
Yeah.
and you're doing the work, and the gratitude that God wants us to have once it's there, and all he wants us to have is, as we know, that mustard seed of faith, that mustard seed of gratitude. This will allow us to show up every day, Lytria, and serve somebody else because we feel good. God has given us the creativity and the wisdom to share just that specific topic today to change the trajectory of somebody's mindset when it comes to claiming their abundance, healing, life insurance, just what their next level is going to be like if they don't insure themselves. And this is why I'm so glad that I chose you to speak upon this
Yeah.
topic, and I'm grateful for your purpose.
Yeah.
Because if I kept looking in the marketplace, and if I could have chose anybody else, to be honest, I don't see the passion. I just see, let me sign them up. Let me get this policy done. And even when I started to understand life insurance, I didn't know on the back end how agents got paid. That's none of our business, right? Because we're serving you with this lifelong service, but I always say that business is spiritual. And if I just don't see that you're speaking that language of minds, which is why it's so good to have identity, it's so good to know who you are through God. Then we just won't go to that next level, or whatever the case may be. Like you say, what's for you is for you.
Yes.
And you were for the listeners today. You blessed me today, so you were for me today, and I just thank you.
Oh,
I didn't know. Yes, I didn't know you had so much.
yes.
When you like this, Lytria, like what? You need to be live every
Yeah.
day.
That's why I said I'm so thankful that you invited me on this platform. I feel like it's so aligned with where I am right now, and it just makes perfect sense. It just made so much sense for me to come and, just partake in this conversation. I was like, oh man, claiming my abundance and, healing, and it's just like healing is just so important. I know a lot of people will say it's cliche, but it's just like you really do, like in every aspect of your life, like you have to desire to heal. You have to like take those footsteps in the right direction. And so I'm very appreciative of your platform because I know for sure, a lot of your content, your energy, your vibes have always
Thank you.
helped me. I'm like, look at DeAudrey. Let me get my stuff together. Let me drink some water. Let me get my life together.
Wow.
Girl, what are you doing? Like, and so it's just so much inspiration. And I think that we need to graduate from hope, and we need to be inspired by the right people. We need to be influenced by the right people because
So good.
God works through people. These are people being put into place, to do these things. And that's me. I want to serve as an inspiration. I don't want you to just have hope. That's not enough for me, because that means that at any given time you can slip away, into the same funk. And it's like, I want you to be inspired by what I'm doing. And so with that, I want to do it right. And I want to show up, and I want to do my best, and I want to be transparent. I want to be honest. I just want to be a person, to you. I want you to know, like, we are people, we have jobs, careers, businesses, but we are also people, and so, yeah, I'm all about this. I absolutely love it because in these four walls, we definitely heal. We definitely focus on healing. So I
Yes.
appreciate you. Like you doing your thing. I'm always impressed. I'm like, she is just like,
Well,
what?
and
She is it. This is it right here, So
oh, I want to cry, girl. Well, we obviously, Lytria, I had to go through a space of letting God break me down to build me back up. I was broken. When I was in Milwaukee, and I could be broken here in Georgia, I was broken. I was doing this with relationships, doing this with men. Yes, I was still showing up, but I didn't have the voice that I have now.
Yeah.
So God had to take me from that wilderness, even if it was in my mind. It doesn't have to be a specific geographical location, but at the time, that's all I knew. And in the environment around me, it just, in the relationships I may have had, whether it was, female friends or guy friends, it just wasn't conducive to my identity and to my next level. So as we all know, and like you said, it may sound cliche, but separation brings elevation. Isolation brings elevation. God needed to have me by myself. I really, truly feel like in my heart, if I would have stayed in that wilderness, I could have been anywhere in the world, and you could still have wilderness. Claiming my abundance wouldn't have took place. I had to heal parts of me, still healing parts of me, my mind, my inner voice, the decisions I make, how I value myself, my self-image. So when we do show up and we inspire somebody, some type of work has to be done.
Yeah.
And I don't subscribe to faking it till I make it. Yeah. I don't subscribe to that, because I could be over here in a deep, dark depression.
I do not subscribe.
I don't. And I don't want people around me subscribing to that, because I might say something to make you feel in a gentle way, but I might say something to make you feel like you need to snap out of that.
Yes.
Because you're crying at night.
Yes.
Right? You waking up, looking in the mirror saying, who am I?
Yes.
So I'm grateful. This is a very much heartfelt conversation and an episode, and you have blessed me today.
Yes, girl, likewise. Love, all of this. And I know I talk a lot, like you said, so the people can digest. I need a moderator. Please stop me. But yes, because I love it.
That's how I know your heart is in it. And I'm okay with saying how I was, where I'm at, and the abundance that God has blessed me with and trusted me with.
Yes.
Lytria, He has trusted you to serve these people to the multitude that you are serving them, and keep serving them. I love how you show up too. But if I could give you any advice, I would say every day. Because what you just did today was it's Monday through Sunday content.
You know what? All is content. I swear, I'm always like that. And I can be at my daughter's basketball game and I'd be like, oh my God, that would be so good to talk about.
In your iPhone notes stuff.
Yeah.
And keep it as an idea. I would even, because that's what I do when I'm out and about, and we look at something, or something, God downloads something in us, I write it in my iPhone notes so I can refer back to it.
Yeah.
Right. So I would encourage you to definitely do that and just push it out there. Even if it's quick 15, 20 minutes, push it out there.
Push it out.
So, and I promise you, I tell people, God is the algorithm. All you got to do is show up and serve and do His work. And I know you know that already, but God is the algorithm. I don't care if you have 500 followers. I was listening to a podcast at the gym the other day, and Pastor Jerry Flowers, he was on a podcast, and the host asked him, he said, so I guess I'm giving Jerry Flowers a shout out because he have a podcast too. But that's okay. We are good people doing some good stuff in our, community and for the culture. So long story short, the host asked him, how do you feel when you post content and you get 500,000 views and shares because of what you're saying? That man said, I don't feel, because I don't measure my impact and the change that is happening over somebody's life to matrix, to numerical value. I don't feel no way. I just know God is the algorithm and God is showing up. So I'm saying this to those who's listening. If you know you have a service, if you know that God has given you something, a spiritual gift to show up, if you have 150, everybody got to start somewhere.
Yes.
Everybody has to start somewhere. So that 15 minutes of showing up, that 5 minutes of showing up, you're staying on their subconscious. You're staying on their spirit if they feel you, like how I felt you today.
Yeah. I received that from you.
Yes.
The no capacity. I just I really received that because, man, I appreciate that feedback. I need to hear that. I need to be, in a space, where people are receiving me, because I know that they will. I struggle with social media a lot because I I've always felt my impact in person, through those personal conversations, is where people are getting to know me. But you're right. I definitely, should be showing up, and I'm gonna, do my absolute best. I,
Yeah,
I
that's
need that
fire.
ability for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I love content. I love showing up. I can hold you accountable. If you welcome me in that space, just let me know
You
I'm
know,
here.
like I said, we got to talk after this.
We do.
I
We
really,
do.
yeah.
So now what is a major gem that you can give women looking to heal and walk in their abundance? What would be that gem?
Um, I would say that you are on your own time. You
Hmm.
are not on nobody else's time. Distractions are gonna be, the number one thing. Like, you have to learn those triggers, and just stay face. But you are on your own time. You know, I don't care if that's healing from somebody or people, places, and things, whatever you healing from, don't rush your process. Like,
That's it.
everybody talk about, trust the process. No, trust your process, because
Wow.
everybody's process is gonna look different. I know my process looked different. I did not lose weight like half the other people. I did not, come into my industry, or revive myself in my industry like how everybody else did. I didn't, win those battles in my marriage like everybody else did, but I trusted my process, and it was mine, and I owned it, every day. And, I worked through that. And just stay on your own time. Like, don't rush yourself. Be very, very gentle with yourself, because you deserve that. You deserve that.
You deserve that. Wow, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
A woman needs to hear, like, slow down, sis.
Slow down.
And just slow down. And I had to learn that, Lytria. I'm gonna be real honest with everybody. And once I slowed down, I was real, like you said, it was a breath of fresh air.
Mm.
I was able to breathe again,
Yes.
able to breathe. Then when I met other people, I was able to be that breath of fresh air in their life because I slowed down and I seen my intrinsic value. I seen, where I stand in life and what I offer. So we really have to slow down and take a
Hmm.
look at who we are, who God blessed us to be, and that's your abundance right now. It doesn't have to be attached to a financial status,
Nah.
a title, a business. None of that. Just slow down.
Yes.
Be
That financial
gentle.
piece, it comes with it. It comes with it, because
Yeah.
it just does.
But it needs to catch up. You got to heal so it can catch up.
Yes. Yeah.
That's it. That's
But we
it.
do got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. You can't just sit there wishing upon a star, rubbing your feet together. Like, look, we got to put in the work. Okay.
We got to put in the work. But with this society being such a fast paced, 100K a month society, 10K, whatever the case may be, it's
Hmm.
just, I want people to know, yes, that work has to be in place, but the internal work takes
Yeah.
place first for you to even do, like you said, you were doing, Lytria, the affirmations.
Yeah.
I am already a millionaire. I am already a multi. I am already a wealth creator.
Yes.
But that internal healing has to happen first before the mind catch up.
Hmm. Yeah.
Before the mind
Feel
catch up.
worthy. I always ask people, like, okay, there's a series of questions how I quickly gather, how much my clients will need in life insurance. And the last question I always ask is, okay, now, what do you want to leave behind just because? Like, what does your legacy look like? And they always lowball it. It's just like, this is your legacy. And it's a worthy thing. I've identified it's a worthy thing. Do you feel worthy of leaving behind $1 million inheritance? Do you feel like you can do that? You know,
Yeah.
what's stopping you from wanting to just throw a number out there? Like, it has nothing to do with your value, of who you are. And so it's
Right.
a worthy thing. You have to feel worthy of all that you want. People can speak to you until you blue in the face, like, you are, and it's like, until you say I am, there is just no, you have to feel worthy. Like, I'm worthy of these things. I am worthy of my abundance, you know, whether it looks like it or not. And so, yeah, I think that in the life insurance space, you know, a lot of people, they just like, you know, I just want to take care of my, you know, this and that. I don't need much, you know, I just want just enough. It's just like, you are worthy
Yeah.
of so much more. So, yeah.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Well, listen, it is our time. I know that this resonated with so many women's hearts. And I hope everything that you said, even if it was one thing that you said, out of all the wisdom you gave, somebody said, it is my time to get insured.
Yeah.
It is my time to start healing. It is my time to start making dates with my finances, especially if you're in a marriage. So, Lytria, let everyone know, how can they find you, follow up with you, speak with you, anything that you have access to?
Yeah, so you can visit my website. It's lifeandlegacyinvestments.com, and that's all spelled out. Or I'm also on social media, so Facebook, Instagram. On Instagram, I'm Lytria_Roberson. On Facebook, I'm Lytria Roberson, but I also have a business page, Life and Legacy Investments. You know, if you have questions, you want to talk about your specific situation, send me a message. Like, I'm very, very good at getting back to messages. Or you can send me an email at info@lifeandlegacyinvestments.com.
Yes, beautiful. Well, again, you all, this was episode 4 with Lytria Roberson, owner of Life and Legacy Investments. You know where to reach her now. And I just hope this blessed you in the most deepest way possible, because 2023, we have to make some major changes. And I'm saying this to myself as well. Okay. Right. So catch us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube as well. Okay. Claiming My Abundance for all of it. And for those who are listening and you are looking to be a part of a free sisterhood or a community, find us on Claiming My Abundance on Facebook. It is a free public group, or just use the link below and add yourself so you can be connected. Okay, let's stay connected. Let's grow together and let's heal together. Most importantly. Okay, so thank you all, and we will see you on episode 5.
I'm free. I'm human, but I'm comfortable with me. I'm capable, got everything that I need. I'm focused.